Man, you got everybody named Mama talking about the pay-per-view numbers of Golovkin Canelo 3. Eddie Hearn, I don't think he's very happy this morning. Or do we really care? Or maybe Dazn not very happy. I think it may be a little bit of both, but I think more so Dazn. Here's the thing, y'all. You guys have to understand how networks get involved with boxing. Okay? I'm gonna break it down and I'm gonna explain it to you. So you get a guy like Eddie Hearn. He'll go to these networks and he'll pitch his promotional plan. He'll pitch it. He'll say, I got this fighter, I got that fighter. This fighter got this many world belts, and this person that got this many people following him, and this fighter right here got this many amount of people following him, and this fighter is very popular. This fighter is very famous. Well, here's the thing, y'all. Networks like Dazn, especially Dazn that are brand new, they got one problem. Okay, it sounds great, but they don't know anything about the landscape of boxing. They really don't know. Okay, well, or at the time, Dazn didn't know a lot about boxing. So, how would they know? They can go back and research people like Canelo and research Golovkin. And, Dazn, their whole research is, going to their social media. Oh, man, this boy Canelo got 10 million followers. Okay. This boy Golovkin got like 1 million. Oh, okay. So, yeah, we put those two together. Hey, we might can make some money. See, that's where the Dazn's X, that's where their pay-per-view, their understanding of boxing live, they just go do research. Because when you got to understand when Dazn first came into fruition, or here in America, the only thing they had on there was soccer channels, had a few basketball channels here and there. They had some football stuff, but, nobody's going to pay $9.99 a month for a Dazn subscription when you can get that same thing and then some with ESPN Plus. It just didn't seem like viable. And in America, Dazn didn't work. Dazn is something that don't work. But, Dazn, Eddie Hearn pitched him. And, and the first mistake they made was allowing Eddie Hearn to, pitch them on boxing because he's not even in America. Okay, that's one thing. Eddie Hearn is not even in America. Okay, so Eddie Hearn really don't know the landscape of America. He don't really understand that, hey, our number one sport here in America is football and basketball. Okay, he don't know that. He's just pitching them about his athletes and his stars. So Dazn's like, yep, we got to get in the American market. And to me, it was a bad mistake. Or it wasn't a bad mistake, but you have to go about it a little bit differently and more tactically the way that Eddie Hearn went. So, promoters, they rarely use a lot of their own money to do these things. They rarely do. The networks will put up the money. Okay, so they'll give the promoter a certain amount of money that they can spend on fights. Well, Eddie Hearn had, damn near $500 million. From what I understood, or more. And you're telling a network like DAZN, yeah, we're going to put on the best fights. We're going to have, Saul Canelo Alvarez fighting this person. We're going to have Gennady Golovkin fighting this person. Well, when it's time to put these fights on, or when guys like Eddie Hearn are trying to make these particular fights, then you got Canelo and Golovkin, they don't want to fight the people that are proposed. Like the Charlos, okay, they want to fight, Andre or David Benavidez. See, these people have already been proposed, and these fights have been turned down many times. Well, DAZN, they're still on the hook because they still got to pay the money. They still got to pay the fighters the money that they promised. But the fighters don't want to fight the fights. It's crazy. Like, how the hell you going to have my money, okay? And I'm paying you my money, and I can't get this the way I want it. Folks, it's almost like going into a fast food restaurant for many of you people that eat in those garbage places. It's like going into a fast food restaurant, and you order a burger, with everything on it. Okay, you put everything on it. Now, you told them, hey, don't put tomatoes on my hamburger, but they're giving you tomatoes anyway. Or you tell them, hey, put tomatoes on my hamburger, but they tell you, well, you know what? We don't want to put tomatoes on there because we're trying to save money. Okay, wait a minute. I want this burger the way I want it and not the way you want to give it to me. Okay? Well, that's what these fighters are doing. They're trying to take your money but not give you what you want. And that's what happened at DAZN. And DAZN, it's almost like, y'all didn't have no testicles to tell Canelo, no, you can't fight a Liam Smith. to tell Golovkin, no, you can't fight a Vanes Martirosyan, okay? You can't fight these people. And I'm just using their names as an example. Okay, you can't fight these fights. No. We need fights that are going to draw, that are going to draw people to them. And see, that's the fault of the Dazn execs. It's their fault. You're supposed to know. If you're going into a venture, you don't just take Eddie Hearn's word for it. You just don't take his word, and you don't let this man pitch you. Okay, you don't let him sell you a pitch. It's Dazn. You have to research. It's a business venture. Nothing is a sure thing. You got to research who the top fighters out there. Okay, you got to research who can draw people in. You got to go back and do pay-per-view research. Okay, that's what you got to do. I mean, Dazn, should have been, trying to pitch numbers out to Wilder. Well, they did. I think they threw Wilder an offer, and Wilder, he turned down that particular offer. Okay, Dazn, when they first came out, they was throwing money all over the place. Like, Dazn was legit throwing money all over the place. They were just throwing it everywhere. See, let me tell y'all, with Triller, everybody remember Triller when they gave they were about to give Teofimo Lopez that $6 million to go fight George Kambosos Jr. I think maybe he did get it. Triller, they got real smart real quick, okay? Triller got real smart. And what Triller started doing was making these guys fight each other. They started making the guys fight each other. Like, they got real smart because they realized, hey, this fight, we're going to pay all this money out. Well, we got to, the fight got to make sense. It's got to make money sense. We got to be able to make a profit on the back end on these fights. And some networks, they're getting smart. They're getting smart, but it seems like Dazn they don't get it. Like, Eddie Hearn got all y'all money, and he paying for these garbage ass fights, and you're putting them on your network, and people are not watching them. And it's like, they go to Eddie, they demand Eddie to book this fight, to book that fight, and then guess what? The fight still don't get made. Who's at fault? The damn fight still don't even get made, man. And then you start wondering, what the hell is up? I mean, what? You can't make these guys fight? See, man, if I were Dazn, if it were me, I would have wrote it in the contract. If I'm finna pay you these hundreds of millions of dollars, I'm finna put it in the contract. And I'm finna say, you got to fight a David Benavidez by your third fight. Okay? You have to fight a Jamal Charlo by your second fight. Okay? Like, you have to fight these people in a time frame. And if not, you don't have to pay them. You don't have to pay these people. And you can remove them from the contract. That's what Dazn should have did. Nah, man. They paid these two $75 million. Because what Dazn tried to do, they thought that this was going to be a big fight. And they tried to do it without getting some of the top names in boxing. That's what happened. Now, Dazn, they stuck. They're on the hook. They're on the hook for millions and millions, and they lost money. And probably some people at Dazn probably going to get fired, I'm pretty sure. Okay, they're going to have to fire some execs. They're going to have to fire some people that didn't do their research. Trilogies, unless the trilogies didn't end in controversy, a trilogy is a good investment. But this trilogy wasn't. Number one, you had a guy in Canelo who is avoiding the top fighters in this era. That's mistake number one. And then you got Golovkin, who avoided just damn near everybody. And the only person that he will fight is Canelo. Okay, so you have those guys here. Okay, you have those guys here in Dazn, and you're going to put them together for a third time. Well, it's a fight that fans didn't really want to see. Fans didn't want to see this fight. So, fans didn't buy this fight. Only diehard fans of each fighter bought the fight, okay? And that's because they liked the fighters. But really, casual fans didn't buy this fight. And you couldn't sell the casuals on it. That's crazy. I mean, everybody knew. Everybody knew that this fight was garbage. You had 40-year-old GGG, okay, who pretty much just been the same fighter he always been. He just fought Canelo, who's a tougher fighter. Then you had Canelo. And both of these two, they didn't want to fight the Charlos. They didn't want to fight Demetrius Andrade. They didn't want to fight David Benavidez, okay? They didn't want to fight Andre Ward when he was in his prime. None of these guys. They avoided They just avoided all the smoke, man. And so, hence, here lies the problem in boxing. You have to make these guys fight, man. You have to make them fight. You can't just, go on a promise that Eddie Hearn's gonna make all these certain fights. Well, they didn't get made. And sometimes the fault is Eddie Hearn, but sometimes it's the fighters themselves. Them guys, they good for turning down fights, man. These guys are great for turning down a damn fight, and they will do it. I mean, here's the example right here. Canelo and GGG done turned down a lot of fights. They've turned down a decent amount of fights, okay, in order to not take tough fights. Crazy, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Well, I mean, Dazn, they're probably going to go out of business, okay? I can pretty much tell you that they'll probably be going out of business because no business can operate like this. You can't keep paying out all this damn money, man. You can't keep doing it and then think that your business is going to thrive. Like, you really think your business is going to thrive? You're paying out all this money, but you're not getting a return on your investment. Your subscriptions aren't going up, okay? Or you don't have like the greatest number of subscriptions. This is crazy. It's crazy. I don't know, man, who came up with the Dazn business model, but damn, they need to be fired because they stupid. This Dazn business model, it sucks, man. It sucks. And no wonder, man. No wonder, like, people like Dazn, they can't be what ESPN Plus is. Like, you can go buy ESPN Plus subscription, man, and still get more fights and better quality fights on that than you can on a Dazn network subscription. I kid y'all not. Well, Eddie Hearn has shown why you should never trust him.